Hello everyone, welcome to Chess Side. Today's game is between Mikhail Tal versus Keller. Mikhail Tal is white, Keller is black. So let's start the game. Mikhail Tal played knight f3, knight f6, c4, e6, knight to c3, d5, d4, c6, bishop to g5, d into c4. So this opening is semi-slab defense, e4, b5, giving some support to c4 pawn, a4, queen b6, bishop into f6, g into f6, bishop to e2, a6, giving more support to b5 pawn, castle, bishop to b7, d5, c into d5, e into d5, and b4, a5, queen c7, and d into e6. Mikhail Tal could have played knight a4. This is much better move. The plan is to put the knight on b6 and pressure the a rook. So the black queen cannot take a5 pawn because of d into e6, f into e6, and bishop into c4. Here white is completely better because you can see black king is very weak. White pieces are just very active, and it doesn't matter whether the black king goes long castle or short castle, it is going to remain weak because the pawns are very weak. You can see. So the queen cannot take the a5 pawn. So black can play knight to d7, protecting the b6 square from the knight, but still, knight to b6, knight into b6, a into b6, queen into b6, d into e6, f into e6. And here you can see, friends, that still black king is a little bit weak. The white is 2 points down, but the black king is much weaker than white king, as it as the black king doesn't matter whether the black king goes long castle or short castle, it's going to remain weak because of the pawns. The pawn style which is located, which is very weak. So, but okay, Mikhail Tal gone d into e6, b into c3, sacrificing the knight, knight to d4, rook to g8, taking the g file and threatening the g2 pawn, queen to a4 check, king to d8, g3, bishop to d5, rook f to d1. White could have played rook a to d1 because it is much better, because in the future the white can play the f rook to e1 and taking the e file and d file, which is much better than playing the rook f to d1. As you can see, the a rook, where the a rook goes, it doesn't matter. C file is not so good comparatively to e file. So okay, because I played rook f d1, king c8, which is a blunder. The best move for black is to take the pawn on b2, rook b1, and c3. And here, friends, black is better. Black is very bad. As you can see, these 2 pawns are just very powerful. So black is better. But Mikhail Tal opponent thought that the king is coming in the line of rook. So he thought it is better to move the king. So he played king c8. It is a blunder. So guys, it's your chance. Take some minutes or seconds to find the right answer, and then please start the video. So those who found the right move, congratulations. The only winning move is queen to e8 check. So after queen king b7, b into c3, and now you can see the a rook can join to b1 and giving the check to king. And after king a7, you can see the king would become very weak, and white is just completely better in this position. So, but because I played b into c3, which was he just missed a win. The position is equalized. The bishop to c5. Now queen cannot no longer can come to e8 because the rook is guarding the e8 square. So e7, knight to c6, bishop to g4, king to b7, knight to b5. Knight to b5 was a blunder, guys. The best move was knight to b3. Because after knight to b3, if c into b3, rook into d5, knight to e5, threatening the bishop. So rook into e5, f into e5, bishop to f3 check, king to a7, bishop into a8, b2, rook b1, bishop into e7, bishop to f3, rook b8, queen a2, and queen into c3. And here, guys, it's slightly better for white, actually, because you can see black cannot push his pawn to b1. It's very hard. It cannot be possible. So black have to lose this pawn, and it is slightly better for white. So b into c3. So after knight to b5, which was blunder, the black plays queen to e5, rook to e1, bishop to e4, rook a b1, which was a brilliant move, rook into g4, rook into e4, queen into e4, knight to d6 check. Now white is going to take the queen, and it's a double check, so king have to move. King to c7, knight into e4, rook into e4, queen to d1, rook to e5, which was a blunder. Black could have played bishop cross e7, queen d5, rook e5, queen into f7, rook into a5. So it's equal position. As you can see, black is coordinating his pieces. The knight is protecting the bishop, the king is protecting the knight, and everything is safe. So it's an equal position. But after rook e5, which was the blunder, Mikhail Tal saw it all. Rook to b7 check. This is the only moves, guys. This is the only move. King to b7, queen to d7, king b8, e8 queen, rook into e8, queen into e8, king to b7, queen to d7, check. So king b8, queen into c6, and then after queen into c6, the Mikhail opponent resigned the game. So it was a tremendously beautiful game. There was many different ideas which were played. There was the game was very imbalanced. So guys, if you like my video, then please share, subscribe, and like the video. And guys, please comment on the comment box how do you like it. And thank you.